you're acting like kind of like, I mean, it's a mix between if you're doing storytelling, public speaking, and how do I say, if you were running a radio talk show. So
Wow.
I'm literally like laughing because I'm like, so basically what you're telling me is it's an app basically created for somebody like me.
Well, yeah, they heard you, so your prayers have been answered. Your prayers have been answered.
Well, the thing I'm trying to find out for you is I see rooms in there with like stuff about music, but I'm not sure if it's original music or if they got like, I see like DJ Bad Boy Bill's in here and I see stuff about rooms about music. Now I haven't gone in any of the music rooms yet, but it makes me wonder, that's the other reason why I was curious if you had it. I'm not sure how this is working, but you could run like, I mean, it wouldn't be something that you could, that it would be able to be kept. But,
Right.
You could run, I know people are running live music.
DJ Bad Boy Bill's my porn name.
Yeah. I'm sure it is.
Okay, hang on tight, hold on.
How come I don't see your iPad? Go again, Ivan.
Okay, testing 1, 2.
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay, good.
How come I don't see Mike's icon at all? Weird.
I got a +2 on mine.
Yeah, I see like a +2.
All right. Yeah. That makes 3. There are 3 of us.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, okay, Mike. I get that one. Thank you.
3 cookies for me.
Oh.
Thanks for counting, Mike. I truly appreciate it because I didn't know how to
three podcasters.
I didn't know how to fucking count or anything like that. I just, you know.
Oh my goodness. So how we doing, Mike, me boy?
I'm doing good, Ivan, me boy. Doing great.
Good.
Weekend is over, and it's been a crazy weekend.
I see.
Busy. It's my busy weekend.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough. So now you're here relaxing with us, and Jeff and I were talking about this new place that he had discovered called Clubhouse, and we were thinking about the aspect. He was talking to me about the possible music aspect of it. So I'm just like, might be something I have to look into.
Okay.
The thing is you have to have an Apple device. You have to have like either an Apple tablet or an iPhone to use it.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's going to take probably they're saying anywhere from another 3 to 6 months for anybody who's not on an Apple product. I don't know why they did it that way, but as somebody who's on an Apple product, I'm like,
I think because of the fact that, the exclusivity of it, I think they're banking on it with Apple being the premier product. I guess that they were just looking for exclusivity, and then they figure, as long as we get all the Apple, we're going to get the people with all the money, and then the Androids.
Nah, the Samsungs and the other ones,
yeah,
they're I don't know. Our share of listeners, I think about 25% of the people who listen to this show use Apple products or use the iTunes app. Or the Apple Podcast app. I mean, it's popular, but I think the split between the other devices and other hosting platforms, it's still kind of a mixed bag, and it's still only a fraction of the marketplace.
Right, exactly. No, you're absolutely right, Mike. True.
Well, initially Apple was the bigger part of the market, and then. Yep. And then that kind of changed with time. And then, I mean, to me, I kind of laugh because there's these people who are like, Samsung Androids and all these other phones are so superior to Apple. Well, and then now this app comes out, and all of them are like, why can't I get on the app?
When?
Yeah,
call the ambulance.
I'm kind of like sitting there going, well, you do have the superior phone, supposedly, what do you want me to do?
You can't even use, Windows, I mean, it has to be through an app. There's not like a regular website.
No,
Yeah.
it's an app.
Everything is so app-driven now. I mean, websites, I think, are almost becoming a secondary thing now with everybody doing everything on the apps. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's almost like not even in the language anymore. Oh, yeah, well, it's all on the app. If you want it, go to the app. Yeah. You know, used to be a few years ago, it was just like, well, hit them on the website and
https://www.
And that is why apps are more popular.
Push one button,
exactly.
The app, boom, done, and it's like it's over with. You know, people just don't have people.
People don't have to type that in while they're reaching for their bag of chips on the couch.
Well, or I hate to say it, you're out someplace and I got to hit all those little fucking buttons and. You know.
Yeah, why do I want to go through all the semicolons and slashes when I can just hit it once, hit it twice, and done?
Yeah,
you know?
Can't wait to see DJ Bad Boy Bill.
Yeah, that ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, but supposedly, the interesting part is, now I haven't run into any yet, although it's funny because there's one tonight while we're recording about, I wouldn't exactly call him well, I guess he's technically a celebrity, but Ian Ziering, the guy who played Steve from 90210, is doing a panel tonight, or doing a thing there tonight.
Whoa,
so. But, supposedly,
I guess Brad Pitt wasn't available.
Well, I mean, now in fairness, Will Smith's been in here, and so has Elon Musk, and so has Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, and Mark Zuckerberg. So, I get where you're going, but at the same time, I'm kind of laughing when you say that because it's like I said, that's what I saw. Now, granted, I saw this afternoon. I didn't walk into that room, but there was a room that it was. There was a room that it was like, okay, Tiffany Haddish is in this room. I'm like, okay, well. Or supposedly was in that room as one of the panelists, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. But like I said, I got it. I got an invite from somebody late Saturday afternoon, and I spent okay, I need to not be in here and trying to do things I don't know, make some money.
Anybody make any money on the Super Bowl?
What Super Bowl?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I didn't watch it. I didn't bother with it. I just, I didn't have a vested interest in it. There were no teams that I wanted to watch on it. The whole Tom Brady thing, bullshit. I don't care. And it's just, And of course, I heard the Weekend, ND, not END. I heard it did a so-so performance on there. I mean, this is all just after read. Reading articles and things. I didn't put one iota into the whole package yesterday.
I did see the Weekend. I saw his thing, and the only thing I can say is, I felt like I don't know how to explain it. It just seemed like it could have been better, and I'm not putting it the singing was bad. I just thought the presentation, he did, I just so happened to see it, but, he did he did, the Blinding Lights song that he does on the MTV Awards, and it was incredible. I mean, what he did was, mind-blowing compared to, what I saw him do for the Super Bowl, and so I'm kind of
this one falls into the mediocrity, I think. And no one's going to come back and say, remember 2021 Super Bowl? No one's going to remember.
Well, and the other thing is you've got a whole bunch of people whose reaction is, I don't even know who this guy is.
That was me, I felt so old watching this. I don't know any of these songs.
I'm hearing a similar refrain from people. I mean, even it was funny. I caught 2 seconds of the View this morning, and Whoopi Goldberg's like, I thought I knew his songs, but not really. I guess I'm getting old.
You guess.
Was it his? What is it? What? Okay. I also heard a lot of what happened on SNL on the Saturday, and I guess the buzz is going around with the Phoebe girl trying to half-heartedly try to destroy her guitar on stage, and it just didn't happen.
Oh, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that.
I don't know about that. No.
I get my friend Jeff Quitt, the Harlem Knights players, was like doing a blow by blow of the SNL and how like the skits are getting, and the host was just like, and the music was for naught. And I guess the lead singer of this group, I guess her Phoebe was her name or whatever, and then I guess at the end he was trying to make this statement by smashing her guitar, kind of like what the Who used to do back in the day, and the guitar just wouldn't come apart or break or anything.
She needs to call the WWE so that she knows how to do like the breakaway guitar.
You're right, the balsa wood one. So you bust over people's heads,
like pre-sawed or something like that. So it just flatters.
You're like the honky tonk man.
Yeah, exactly.
Just smack shit over Jake the Snake Roberts' head.
Right. By the way, they don't do that anymore because of that concussion. Now it's to the back.
Lame.
Yeah, they kind of.
lame. I mean, you're freaking give somebody brain damage or balsa damage. No, trust me. I mean, some of it's bad. I mean, I've seen some bad injuries.
Thing, man. I mean, then you'd have to talk about football, which now they're talking about concussions from football. Now they're talking about, yeah, I mean, but the thing is, what they, and then boxing, same thing,
Well,
I mean,
so the only thing about football about that is this, and this is where I get frustrated, and this is where I sit there and I get so, like, the players just continue to shoot themselves in the foot over the years, the last 10 years or so, about some of this stuff. Like, there were players who sued, and so there were some players that sued and about all the stuff with the concussion stuff, and they came away with a settlement. And good for the players that got the settlement. More power to them. I understand. I get it. Here's the problem. The problem is part of the settlement was all of the discovery and all of the information having to do with players and concussions was like locked up and gag ruled, and you can't as part of the agreement.
Not disclosed.
Right, like it's all on undays and non-disclosures. So all that research from that court case can't be used, can't be talked about. So we don't really know nearly enough, and this is where I get frustrated with the players. Is it's like, I get it, you've got bills to pay and you need this money and all this other stuff, and I get it, and it was a good deal for them, but as part of that deal, we don't know how much the NFL did or didn't know about this, and I think there's another suit out there. Ironically, I believe either Jim McMahon or Steve Mongo McMichael is involved with it, where there's another suit out there about this kind of stuff. And I don't know. I question, here's the question I have, and I get it where you're coming from with some of this stuff about, what's the big deal? But it is
a big deal.
It is a huge deal. And in fairness, Mike, to your point about, what's the big deal about a wrestler getting hit with the guitar the way it is? I mean, the concussion, if we talk about players in the NFL, the deaths in wrestling that in the last 20 years of people who died would astonish you. I mean, just the pure amount of, and for different reasons, granted, but there's a lot out there that isn't aware, people aren't aware about with concussions and certain types of injuries that took place from things that, a lot of the guys who really did a lot of that stuff in the 90s, some of them aren't around anymore. And they're not around because they were doing crazy shit. Like,
they're debilitated now because of the
it's not even. I'm not just talking about debilitated. We're talking about dead.
Because the head trauma and the things that happen to their bodies all through the course of time. I mean, beat a body so hard until you take the life out of it.
forget Body's So Hard. I mean, we're like, you're talking about like the WWE stuff from back in the day in the 90s. You know, we're not talking about the ECW stuff where there are guys who literally was like
cage matches and all kinds of
forget stuff. Cage match. Okay, I'm gonna run a cheese grater over your face. Okay, I'm gonna hit you with a baking pan. I'm gonna jump from the balcony from actually Ivan would know this place. You remember the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, right?
Yeah,
You've heard of it, right?
Uh-huh.
There's a guy named New Jack. Used to do this regularly. Like, forget off the top rope. Off the balcony.
Yeah, I remember.
Off the balcony on somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 20, 40, 50 feet. I mean, some of the stuff we're talking about, like...
Yeah, coming down, free fall,
I mean, think about this. Don't get me wrong, Mick Foley is phenomenal and he's a legend and is all right. But one of the reasons why Mick Foley is as big as he is today was that Hell in the Cell match that he did in the late '90s with him and the Undertaker, where the two of them are on top of the cell, which is like 20, 30 feet high in the air, and the Undertaker basically throws him off the side through a freaking table.
Right.
And this crazy part is Foley gets up. Not only does Foley get up, Foley gets up, climbs back up the cage, and then Taker power bombs him right through the freaking cage onto the mat inside, and then he tombstones him in a bunch of thumbtacks.
So another person would have suffered so many broken bones.
Oh, but there was. I mean, it was funny. I mean, like I remember reading Foley's book. He's like, "Oh, so things are better than I thought." And as he's looking at it, he's like, "No, Mick, no. That's those small amounts that you're looking at that you think is good. That's the only ones you have that are good that are left." And it's like, oh God,
Yeah. Basically, they've debilitated themselves right out of the career.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll go a different direction. Get back to things. I gotta ask you guys. Do either of you watch Saturday Night Live?
No,
not really.
If there's a funny skit, I'll look for it on YouTube, or I'll.
Well, Saturday Night Live used to be something you could take in, for total content, but in for me, I would have to say in the last 20 or so years, now it's become piecemeal. I just kind of look for the bits that everybody talks about that get the most buzz, and then I'll just see it then. But then afterwards, no, I don't bother with it. And there was an interesting article on it, though, because Lorne Michaels, being the patriarch of writers there at, Saturday Night Live. And the article had to do with all of the musical acts that have gotten kicked off and not destined to return, or people that have been on Saturday Night Live that were on and that just weren't asked to return. I mean, even Milton Berle, who was on Saturday Night Live for a sketch and everything like that, they said that he was so impossible to work with, and then after he went on Saturday Night Live, he totally ad-libbed his lines, which is a total no-no for Lorne Michaels. I mean, that's just not what it's about. I mean, they say it's live television and everything, but it's very tightly scripted. It's very tightly and it's out there on the internet, the article about all the people that have been kicked off of Saturday Night Live and not asked to return again. And of course everybody knows about the famous Sinead O'Connor tearing the Pope's picture up on TV, which was totally misconstrued. It was trying to make a statement, and it was seen as totally disrespectful, and that's allegedly that ruined her career.
Didn't do any good, that's for sure.
Well, I remember too, after that there was that whole, I can't remember who did it, but it was like during the whole Gulf War thing, and it was like there was this whole running gag skit where it was like Sinatra versus Sinead O'Connor that they were running on a regular basis.
I barely remember. But
where basically, I can't remember who was playing Sinatra, but basically,
it might have been
Sinead O'Connor was basically the butt of every.
Might have been Phil
joke.
Hartman at the time.
It might have been.
92.
I can't remember.
Would have been 91, 92.
I think that might have happened, in light of what happened after that appearance, and then she just became.
I think so.
I think she just became the butt-end of that whole thing, pretty much like, Saturday Night Live, if they could take somebody and, stretch them out and throw them on hot coals, they did. I mean, we could go into the whole dialogue of, the previous president and how they ran with the ball with that. The freaking comedy pretty much wrote itself, but then, people do stupid things, and then what happens, they hone in on that, and then they just, they stretch the life out of it. And Sinead, I guess, on the back of that whole picture tearing situation, she just left herself open to be, scrutinized, for the remainder of the series, for the remainder of the season.
Or at least for that time, for at least that time frame. I mean, it's funny because it's like the only time recently, off the top of my head, I went out of my way to watch Saturday Night Live was
also the Eddie Murphy one.
Eddie Murphy.
Just over a year ago. Yeah,
that's it. I don't know what it is. It's like there's this mentality, and maybe it's because, and I can't speak to anybody else, but there was a time frame in the late '80s where honestly Saturday Night Live wasn't very good.
Yeah, it was.
And you're right about that.
It wasn't very good. And so there was an entire generation for a period of time where it was like, I'm not interested in Saturday Night Live. Yeah. And then it got good for a little while again in the 90s.
Yeah, well, obviously, they had the Wayne's World commercial on, what was it? I forget what even they were advertising. I can't remember. The Super Bowl ad with Wayne's World and Cardi B. I forget even remember.
But I mean, the point being is that I was trying to get to, and we'll get to Super Bowl stuff here in a minute. But the point I guess I was getting to was, I just was curious because Mike's around my age, and I have a feeling that's the reason why he doesn't watch either. It just is amazing to me how many people are like, oh, I can't wait to see what Saturday Night Live's going to do with that this week. And I'm like, why do you? You don't have better things to do at midnight on Saturday? What the?
Well, okay, but you're not alone in that. I mean, even person my age, because I was there for the early glory days of Saturday Night Live. I mean, with Radner and Chase and Belushi and Aykroyd and all the rest of them cats, and for a good, I would say for a good decade, maybe 12 years, maybe it was just solid stuff. I mean, for a good. So 12 or so years, and then I think after Eddie Murphy, for me, it just kind of went downhill after that. I just never returned to it. Maybe I did a lot of piecemeal watching after if somebody talked about it. Not like I dedicated myself to sitting there and just watching a whole show.
Right.
And, it was just, you say Saturday Night Live, I'm like, what for, and like I said, I think the last of its life, I mean, for the last 4 years, I mean, probably was the most it's really done anything since.
Well, no, because when What's-Her-McCall kept coming on to play Sarah Palin.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, back those when in 2008 in the Obama campaign, Obama and McCain in 2008.
Yeah.
So he was on every night, just like how what's his name, Alec Baldwin was on to reprise the role as Trump. Yeah.
Right. So with that situation being, I mean, when Saturday Night Live was on in the 70s, I was a teenager then, and that was exciting television because to see those freaking skits and
they broke ground, that's for sure.
I mean, it was truly, truly funny. I mean, and all those guys really, really worked it to the hilt, and I don't see that same energy anymore. And I think personally, with Saturday Night Live, get a better life elsewhere? I would think so, because right now on commercial television, nobody really is giving a rat's ass about it anymore. And besides, it seems like a lot of the writers have just gotten tired, and it's just. I mean, I think it's run its. Personally, I think it's run its course. And I think
it's funny. I agree with you, and but you know what? It's like we're the minority on this. We really are. This conversation is a minority conversation, which is crazy.
I agree with you. I'm sure there's still a lot of people out there that think it's a big deal, because a lot of it now is more driven towards the music, and also the fact that there's a mentality now with comedy where. Now, back in its beginnings, there was no holds barred, but now it's like, well, you can be funny about that, but you got to watch for that. But
Saturday Night Live actually last weekend caught flack for saying a joke that some people were deemed were transphobic.
Right. See, so how are you going to have comedy if people are going to be butthurt every time they hear something? I mean, it just comedy just doesn't have a chance anymore. I think and I think I've mentioned this several times on our show, where Seinfeld made the statement that the art of comedy is dying, and it is, because unless you go see it live, where there are no holds barred and you can just and the people can just let fly, as far as like comedy on television, and then it survives on cable. People pay for that, or people subscribe to that, and it bears more of a chance. But even then, in that environment, there are now starting to have issues where what is in good taste and what isn't in good taste. But then now everything's not in good taste. I mean, how do you work around that?
I gotta be honest with you, even live at this point, I mean, there's a part of me where it's like, if I was a big time star and I was live, and I was out live, I almost would be like, okay, here's the waiver. Wasn't there at one point somebody who made people sign a waiver?
It was Pete Davidson.
Davidson.
Or that they couldn't take their phone.
They had to confiscate their phones, no recording. They had to sign a waiver, and
yeah. And you know what? It ain't that far at this point, because really you're at a point now where it's like, if you don't have that Netflix deal or that Comedy Central deal or that HBO deal, where it's like, and in fairness, even if it's HBO, I mean, they're going to get flacked. They might go, guess what? We'll pay you your money, just go away.
Right.
Whereas, but even but you gotta be a big enough name. Like Chappelle pulled a whole bunch of bullshit the last time he put his stuff out, and even he got flack, but he's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Right. Because you would think that a comedian of stature would be immune to certain things, but that's not the case anymore. I mean, because everybody micromanaging everything, everybody is keeping everything under a microscope, and making sure that the aesthetics of the comedy is supposed to be good for everybody, but that's not possible because of the fact that comedy goes against the establishment, goes against the situation. Ever since the time of silent movies, everybody used to gasp when Charlie Chaplin would kick a cop on his ass, and they everybody found it funny. But then you had those people who were just like, oh, what a disrespect to authority, blah blah blah. But now it's like, we got everything that's in the wide open. You can't make fun of gay people. You can't make fun of lesbians. You can't make fun of trans people. You can't make fun of these people. You can't do indigenous comedy. You can't do this and you can't do that. So who can you make fun of anymore?
White people.
White males.
White people. White people.
I'm in danger.
That in of itself a discriminatory stance when you look at it, though.
So, but here's the amusing part, though, Ivan, on some of what you said, is it's like, there is a caveat to that, which is, you can't talk about Jews unless you're a Jew. Then you can talk about Jews all you damn well want. Okay? I can't talk about Puerto Ricans, but you can talk about Puerto Ricans all damn day.
And I can say whatever the hell I want, just like you're a Jew, and you can say whatever the hell you want.
Absolutely. I mean,
You know?
I posted something on Facebook one time where I went to Emma's Bagels in Skokie, and there was a lot of, it was like a lot. It has a lot, or because it's very, very it's a religious place where they don't open on Saturday. They extremely Orthodox, and the stuff's good, but they cater to Orthodox clientele. And literally, I basically, after leaving there, because how do I say, Jews have that thing going on sometimes as a Jew, and I swear to God, like I put on Facebook, and nobody else could get away with this, but I'm like, there are too many damn Jews here, just too many, too many damn Jews. I mean, I'm not taking it any further than that, but I made some comment about Puerto Ricans, and you came back and made something about Jews, even though the two of us are. We're joking, and people know, well, he's Puerto Rican, he's Jewish, and they're just doing a bit. That wouldn't fly.
It depends on the context you put some of these words, okay? That was a means to an end for that. It wouldn't have came across any other way had you not put it that way. It's just like with me and Scott, we go places, he call me a spick, I call him a honky, and all this other stuff. We're together, we're talking about this, we're friends, but people around us are just like, damn.
Let me tell you where the context is bad, okay? Mm-hmm. I love rap music.
Me too.
There are certain points where there are certain songs, and I can do them by heart. And, it's great when you're in your own home. But if you're out with people...
Or you're in the car.
Well, if you're in the car, it's okay, fine. Yeah. As long as the windows aren't down. But if you're certain places, and you're singing along with everybody else, and certain words get said, don't be shocked when everybody turns around and looks at you and goes, what did you say? But it didn't... No, you can't do that.
But that was in the lyrics, and you knew that.
I know. Well, yeah, I know that. You know that. They even know that.
Make a thing about that. It's in the lyrics, okay? I mean, of the millions of double entendre and straightforward, ribald lyric context that I've listened to in all these years, and that I have repeated and I have sung repeatedly.
Yeah.
Okay, so, it's just like, people, slow down. It's not really as bad as it sounds, but then again, it also...
It's bad.
Takes...
When you start listening to some of those things, you're like, that's no.
Well, yeah, here it is, wasn't me, talking about banging some girl on
that
floor and mama coming in, wasn't me, and or
I wasn't even going there. I was going.
Oh no, but
the N-word, like the N-word.
And then of course, having worked with black people myself on the South Side when I was spinning in the South Side clubs and everything, and see, there's a difference where being the terrible context that it is, but then there's G-A-A.
We should stop. I get it. I've had this conversation, but I get it. We should stop because God knows somebody.
No. But let me finish my statement first, and let me tell you why. Because I have had black people, refer to me, hey, that's Ivan, that's my name there. But see, that was done from black people talking to those that they're sensitive to that mentality and that sensibility. Yeah, black people can talk about black people, okay, just like Jews can talk about Jews and Puerto Ricans can talk about other Puerto Ricans. But, yeah, when you start stepping out of that context, more times than not, you will get offense stemming from that. Okay, I'm not saying it's all right to use these words, but if we have an understanding as to why these words even existed or have been used in the context that they're used in.
I remember, George Carlin had a similar skit.
Yeah, exactly. See, so there's my point. And I'm not, and just for the record, I'm not saying that it's all right to use these words, but if you have a camaraderie with people around you that are accepting of that, then that's one thing. But it's not something you should do on a daily basis, nor should you do it with people you don't know. Well,
in in fairness, I have met that. I do know, like, how do I put this? You know, the whitest of white people who used to listen to rap, and then go be someplace where there are black people, and literally they're going along with the lyrics. They're going along with the lyrics, and they all look at this person like, what did you just say? and the only thing you can say is, and it's funny because the thankful thing is, and this is the only thankful thing, is there is at least a couple people going, he don't mean it, he's innocent, and he's just dumb. He's just a dumb white guy who don't know any better. And you can tell the difference at that point, because it's like, it's like, okay, we need to sit down and explain to you, you can't do that. We can. I don't get it.
Because this is our culture.
Yeah.
You can't do that because that's not your culture. This is our culture.
As long as we're on this, let me ask you a question.
What's that?
Comedy, okay, so comedy's been hit on this all over the place. All over the place. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't see where there's been any backlash on this in rap and hip hop community. At least with anything coming out. There is still, I don't see where there aren't rappers still using this stuff and doing songs about demeaning women or any of that stuff. I haven't seen the backlash, and I keep hearing that backlash is going to come, but it's been a long time now, and with all the stuff where all this woke stuff going on, you'd have thought at some point people would be looking at that, and yet it seems to be immune at the moment.
Well, here's the thing I'm thinking, because because with the advent of the explicit lyrics sticker on albums, I guess this was the recording industry's Band-Aid against that sensibility, because, all right, there's an explicit sticker on here that tells you, yeah, whatever is in there is what's in there, and be ready for it because it's in there. And I think in that context, people tend to look at it and say, oh, okay, I'm going to hear all kind of really undesirable words to my ears as a white person or as another, but to a black person, they're going to listen to that, unless, of course, depending on that particular culture, to some black people, okay, they're all right with that. To some black people, they're still not all right with that. But it all depends on people. So it comes right down to, where do you draw the line on that type of a thing, and also the fact that, with the up and coming, rap culture and, gangster rap culture and the hip hop and the house culture, with all of that going on, with its very explicit explanation and very explicit lyrics, but then very, very blindingly real situations in the lyrics, because they're so profound, and it's done in the interpretation of the artist at the moment that it's interpreted and recorded. And and I guess the people that record this music, this is the way they feel it. They don't know any other way to do it but this way, because this is what they're feeling at the moment they're recording it. That's almost like it's almost like trying to tell a rap artist, oh yeah, well this is a good job. It's almost borders on censorship, which of course a lot of comedy now is suffering from a lot of censorship, and not just only in the commercial television channels, but a lot of that explicit lyrics, doesn't seem to be as existent now as it used to be, but it's still there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just think it's interesting that it seems like that's not been.
No, it's not been held to it. It's not been held accountable. You're right, Jeff. A lot of it hasn't been held accountable. But is there as much of it? Is there as much of it now as there used to be? I'm not sure. I don't listen to a lot of new music other than just what I do in the independent, unsigned, artists and singers and bands that I hear when I was out, being a DJ in the clubs and stuff like that, or when I used to run around in the stages and things like that. But but as far as the rest of it, okay, just like when I listen to the Fugees, which is my favorite album. Love the album. And I know that album forwards and backwards. I had a tape of that. Yeah, tape. I had a tape of that in my in my killer car. Remember my killer car, Mike? The Beretta, the one that almost killed me with the carbon monoxide because there was a crack.
Could I forget?
Yeah. So I used to have a cassette of the Score. That's the name of the album. It's called The Score, and I love that album. And you listen to that now. Did it age well? In some factors, yes. In most factors, no. But that was the time these things were recorded. Just like much things they are a product of their time. So we have to address it as a product of their time. Just like any media, be it pictures, be it television.
I just saw the article today that they put a pretty much a trigger warning in front of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air streaming.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh yeah, and they've already put disclaimers on at least a dozen Disney movies.
Yeah, well, that was because of cultural issues.
Because of Song of the South.
Well, I don't even think they're airing Song of the South, by the way.
Well,
no, that's not going to be on Disney Plus anytime soon.
All right, that's not. No, I think that.
Yeah, they're releasing that to the mass market, but will it ever see real air? No, probably not. So it's one of those things where unless you hunt it down and have it, you're not going to see it. But then that's the likelihood of a lot of things, a lot of movies now, a lot of cartoons now, a lot of product now. What used to be acceptable in the 80s, when you look at the 80s movies and you look at them now and you're thinking, oh my God, I actually thought that was funny.
No.
Your taste changed over time, and some things age well and most things don't. But then you have to put it in a context of, well, they're a product of their time. So with that in respect, that kind of puts a perspective on that particular piece of, entertainment or media that you're watching. And, this is what it was. These were the times. That's why these were made the way they were made. Try to take a movie from the 1930s and try to put it in a modern context of 2021, you're going to look at that and you'll be like, dang, but that was the product of its time in any medium.
Yeah. By the way, Mike, did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yes, I watched through almost halfway through the fourth quarter, and I said, no, it's done. There's no way that Kansas City can come back, and so I stopped watching after the fourth.
I'll be honest. I had a Toastmasters meeting. I was working on stuff for. I'm competing for the World Championship of Public Speaking, and so my next level qualification is now, ironically, in less than 30 days. So it's like it's crunch time. It's time to go. So I'm like, I can skip. I can. If it's my thought process was it was going to be a short meeting. I should be able to make it for half. And I look at the score at halftime, and I'm just like, I don't think there's a reason to watch this. I think this is done. and sure enough, it kind of was. I mean, that was the only thing would have been, and it was funny because my mom happened to tape the Super Bowl in case I wanted to watch the weekend thing. I haven't gotten around to watching any of the ads. I'm hearing mixed reactions on the ads this year. That it's like, not so great.
Yeah,
so
I'd say that. Yeah.
I heard they were not the spectacular ads of old, but more like more like PSAs. But yet, here it is. You're at a Super Bowl and you're running ads about safety and
well,
things like
here's the funny part. You're running ads about safety. One of the few things I saw was right at the beginning. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna socially distance, so we're gonna make we're only gonna have 30." I don't know about you, Mike. I looked at where all the people were sitting in the lower bowl. They didn't look 6 feet apart.
Yeah, no. I think there were some shots of people in the boxes, like Roger Goodell was with some famous dudes. And
so,
they're
I'm
all
just
wearing
talking
masks.
about like in the regular...
In the stands, no.
Yeah. I'm talking about in the stands.
They had 1/3 capacity in the stands, and I guess for $100 you could put your face on a standee, and you could have that in a seat.
Oh joy!
Wow, that's I'll file that away.
Unless it was going to charity, I don't. Now if it was going to charity,
I saw a picture. I just saw a picture of the weekend from the Super Bowl halftime show, and he's got all these other dancers wearing white bandages and matching clothes. It kind of looked like a Batman villain.
I guess
the caption over it is he's got all his people behind him, all his might want to call his other dancers wearing like bandages over their faces. And the caption reads, "Citizens of Gotham, you have 24 hours to deliver the Batman."
Nice. Nice.
So the weekend was okay. At least it was like singing. It was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't no lip syncing guitar or anything like that. Or it seemed like he did a lot of his own singing. It wasn't didn't seem pre-recorded.
I guess the one highlight of the Super Bowl, ironically, was only if you caught it on the radio, and now it's out there to be heard. So I guess they had a streaker.
Yeah, in the fourth quarter, a streaker ran onto the field.
Right. So there's two things about this. One, so obviously on TV they cut away because they wanted to discourage this. But yeah. Kevin Harlan, who's on Westwood Road 1 radio, actually called it like a regular sporting event kind of thing. Like the entire thing. And it's on my page. It is freaking hysterical.
Oh,
it
man,
is amazing.
I want to hear now.
And I mean, it's like, literally, it's like, put on your pads! Put on your pads! Like that
sounds like the Hindenburg crashing, right?
Well, no, it wasn't like that. But he's like, he's at the 50, he's at the 40. Oh my God, he took off his pants. Put on your pants.
Okay.
Put on your pants.
Is that the link you posted from Twitter?
Yeah, that's the link I posted from Twitter.
Right. Kevin Harlan's called the streak. Yeah, he ran pretty much running across the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's another story. There's another story, and this is a rumored story, which is the only reason I'm not putting it on News is Squared. So supposedly, and again, I want to make clear, no collaboration on this. This is all supposed, and this is a rumor. But it is out there. This was out there that supposedly the Super Bowl, the guy who did Streak It at the Super Bowl, bet $50,000 on a plus 750 prop bet that there would be a streaker. His friend went out on the field as a diversion. And then he jumped on the field. He paid his $1,000 bail to get out of jail. And supposedly they're going to cash in on winnings of $374,000.
Wow.
Well, hopefully he doesn't get fined when he goes to court. I mean, he just paid bail.
It'll all get gobbled up in lawyer fees.
Yeah. Well,
no, you won't need a lawyer.
What?
It doesn't need a lawyer.
It's a misdemeanor. I think it's just a misdemeanor.
Oh, if it's just a misdemeanor, then they'll probably let him off with a heavy fine and he walks.
Some judge, you know what some judge is going to do? Yeah, there's a fine. It's $372,000
exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So plus court costs will get you like this much profit. From his bet or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But Super Bowls. Yeah, we've had better, and we've had better halftime shows to be sure.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be the one going down in the books. Pretty much like 2020 is going to go down in the books. It's not something you're going to run.
Yeah, and then commercials are okay. I like there was a Budweiser commercial for their lemonade seltzer where the lemons are falling from the sky.
Okay.
Because they're thinking back on 2020. Yeah, that year was a lemon. And they're all thinking back of where lemons are falling from the sky everywhere and people getting hit in the head with lemons. But no, I like the Rocket Mortgage ads with Tracy Morgan. Those are okay. And we got to see a 30-second spot for the Falcon Winter Soldier, and then I posted a link to the trailer on Square's page.
Yeah, which ironically I put up there too. So there's two of them.
There are two of them.
There are two
trailers. The ads were just kind of lame. And oh my God, so many, because this was on CBS. So there's so many promos for Paramount Plus and The Equalizer with Queen Latifah and the Clarice series and so many shows that CBS is plugging. Seeing the same ads over and over. It was getting kind of repetitious.
Well, but everybody does that.
And I did see the 5-second ad that Reddit put out.
Oh, okay. I'll have to take a look at that.
I can read it, but it's Reddit paid for a 5-second ad or a 15-second ad. So they split it up. I think split it up. It aired twice. Maybe I'm not gonna. But I guess it's just like how they're just promoting Reddit, and they didn't mention the whole GameStop thing, but.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just
think about how underdogs can accomplish anything if they come together and or whatever. So,
yonder.
Well, like I said, it's interesting because Budweiser had products from Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch as a whole, but not Budweiser. And then, like Burger King wasn't there, but there were obviously Burger King related products. There was no McDonald's. None of them. All of them decided not to do any advertising this year and do donation instead to COVID to different things for COVID. So I'll be curious down the road because look, Super Bowl ads have gotten to where it's like it's $5 million to pay for the ad. We're not even talking about producing the ad, making the ad, coming up with the creative. I mean, the real question is this all really that much worth it? And
I mean, is it profitable in the margin?
Even Disney didn't want to pay for a 2-minute trailer. They put in a 30-second spot and say the full trailer online.
Right.
Disney, who made money hand over fist with The Mandalorian last year.
Well, but here's the thing. With theaters not, when nobody knowing when theaters are going to open again, that also did not help CBS this year, which is, okay, think of how many movies did not put movie trailers. How many
movie trailers.
Did not put,
they think it was the only. Oh, the only other trailer was the Coming to America 2.
Right, which is going to happen because it's Amazon.
Yeah, it's going to Amazon in next month.
So unless you were doing a streamer. A movie on a streamer.
There were no other films.
Well, speaking of Amazon, just out of left field, is there any truth to the rumor that Bezos is stepping down?
Oh yeah, that's official.
He's not going to retire. He's had some capacity, but he's stepping out as CAO.
Right. He'll own it. He just won't be day to day.
Yeah.
Right. It's still his baby, but he just wants to spend some of the millions of dollars he's acquired over.
He's returning to Planet Bezos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, seriously, millions. How about billions?
Jeez. Okay, billions. I mean,
So, you were at Spinning Wheel Ice Cream over the weekend, or no?
Yeah, I was at. Okay, well, since I spoke with you gentlemen last, I went from being a disc jockey at the Spinning Wheel to now head administrator of the Spinning Wheel. Now, in fact, I'm working with the Temple family.
Promotion.
Yeah, I got promoted, and I'm now working with the Temple family. Jimmy Temple has kind of stepped back and now going into the private sector of, hey, I don't have to worry about this too much. Now I can start spinning records again because I want to. And then it's me and Diane and Lee Temple, who are the admins of the Spinning Wheel page. There was a bunch of drama that happened over the last times I spoke, which don't need to be reiterated here. All I know is there was a fracture in the spinning wheel having to do with a couple of the other admin who, one decided, well, this isn't for me anymore, and wanted to leave, and so he left, and then, they were a husband and wife, so not long after the husband did it, the wife did it too, and then in the interim, did some things. There were some things that happened where it just was a bunch of chaos, and it just reminded me of when I went back to WEF after they threw Rebel Radio out of the radio station, that unceremonious situation, and came back and WEF was in pieces, and then I had to work with Robert to get everything back into working order again. Well, this is what happened here. So now Jimmy has entrusted me with his dream, and well, we've been doing a lot of really cool things. In fact, it's probably going to happen after this broadcast gets posted and such. It would have happened already, but yeah, we're doing different things on the Tuesday night shows. We opened up a new page called Temple House, which is specifically jazz, blues, and R&B, which, that's been getting a lot of attention. And of course, as the new administrator, we feel really tight rules over at the Spinning Wheel, because when I got there it was strictly records only, but now we've eliminated that because not everybody has records. So we wanted to make it, friendly for
friendly for people who own wax cylinders.
Friendly for people who own CDs and working on computers and Serato and all of the rest of that. So we opened up that whole situation to the dismay of some people, but that's too bad, because I guess some people in the were thinking that, oh well, it's this and it's that and it's every other thing. Here comes the American who comes in and says, well, it's all okay, all music is okay, and that all kinds of entertainment is okay. So you have your, and in Britain, you have your purists, you have your collectors who are, esteemed in their collections, because to us here in America, a record we get here, you get it for a couple of dollars, but if you go over to England with that very same record, you could turn that record into real big money because of the fact that record was not and has not been available there. And, so, for example, if I was to go to Britain now and take a hard case of 300 records with me, I could walk out literally with a mountain of cash, because that's just the value ratio of records over there in England. And of course, in much part of Europe in that respect. And so you get these people who have collected these records, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but they all spend top dollar for these records, and they feel attacked when you come walking in. Oh, I got that record. I paid $2 for that when he paid $2,000 for that. And it tends to raise the blood pressure of some people. So, but
why are they upset? You're playing your own record.
Yeah, tell them to go to a garage sale.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Tell them to go to a garage sale.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they don't
50
have
cents at the flea market, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the flea markets and garage sales, things like that, like we do here.
America, capitalism.
Yeah, you know what? They also don't have freedom, baby.
And the thing about it is too.
Almost spit out my beverage.
The thing about it is too is that the records that they covet so much are all American records. So that's why I get a little baffled at why are you making such a fuss over an American 45? Yeah, but you don't understand. These are underplayed and rare, and these haven't seen the light of day. And I'm just thinking,
Well, then you should be glad I'm playing it then, asshole.
Yeah.
Exactly. And half of that is true. But the other half of it, when you got someone coming up to you saying, "Oh yeah, You Can't Hurry Love. I'd like to get a mint copy of You Can't Hurry Love." Do you know that You Can't Hurry Love you can get here for $1, but you have to pay $25 for a copy of You Can't Hurry Love?
Okay.
By the
how the market works.
Yeah, so it's a huge.
Well, you just explained to them that's the reason why we kicked their ass back in 1776.
That's
and
right. That's right. F the Queen.
Oh my God.
F the Queen.
Okay.
Unless it's Adam Lambert, then
Liberty.
Well,
actually, you know what?
There was a Queen song in one of the Super Bowl ads.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
You know what?
Which one?
That's who should be the Super Bowl act for next year, by the way.
Queen, yeah. I'm surprised they
with Adam Lambert.
Well,
okay, they didn't really have a front guy. Okay, but now that they're doing stuff where they tour Adam Lambert, man, why not?
No, we're still us nerds. We're still trying to get Weird Al for the halftime show. It's not. I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
That ain't going to happen.
Yeah, so that's the thing I did. I did the spinning wheel this weekend, which was really, really cool. Did the Temple House on Friday. Had a really good time doing Temple House, and the Sunday Super Spectacular Sunday New Spinning Wheel Sunday session. Say that 10 times quick.
No.
And did that. And just moving and shaking and just trying to help the page out and make sure everything I's dotted, T's crossed, which has been fun. But of course it does it does require a little extra time. But I seem to have a little bit of time now since I'm not doing anything or going anywhere or not performing any place. And well, but it's also nice because everybody that I've been in contact with in England has just been so nice. They've been so great. I mean, they're so appreciative of the efforts and they're very friendly. I mean, I have a few of them. They call me now via Messenger. Hi Glenn Hall, hi Jimmy Temple. And just put a couple of their names out there, and it's great. And I've been enjoying the camaraderie of the people across the way, across the pond. So it's been very cool in that respect, and I appreciate it a lot. And it's been good. So it's just rolling around and just the same as always, just sitting here, domestic chores and playing records and dreaming of the day, we can get out and do the groovy thing again. Of course, speaking of that, what is it, 9 weeks now till DairyCon?
8 weeks.
8 weeks. Wow.
Did you get on the list for the vaccine?
I've already signed up for my I'm on a list because right now we're in 1B, which basically is
it should be you then.
Yeah, well, that's you.
Yeah,
no, that's not.
Yeah, it is because you have.
Yeah, it is.
You have,
in Illinois, it is.
You have underlying conditions.
Yeah, but wait a minute before you go into all that. Okay, yes, I have underlying conditions, but I'm only 60. So, unfortunately, I don't fall into that category. Okay, so it's right now it's 65 and up, people in nursing homes and care centers.
Yeah,
just show up with a cane.
Let's get fake ID.
Yeah, show up with a cane. Yeah. Get a walker with tennis balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get a walker with tennis balls. You'll be fine.
That's right. Walker with tennis balls.
Well, anyway, when they do get
tell them you watch Matlock on a regular basis.
Move aside, Jenny.
Yeah, I tell them that I don't have any cable. I got regular antenna TV. Yeah. I watch BTV.
You listen to the Cubs on AM radio.
Yeah. And the buttons are not big enough on my phone.
Yeah.
So with that, in that respect, yeah, I mean,
I say get on another list. Find another list. Go to like your local drugstore or something and see if you can try and get on another. I'm serious. Just get on as many lists as you can. And when one hits, just go.
You know what kills me though? What kills me is that you got these people that they don't want to do the 2 shots. Okay, they're all waiting for the Johnson & Johnson.
Right, they don't want to do the Pfizer or Moderna. Right.
Yeah, nobody wants the Pfizer or Moderna because you have to have 2 shots. Problem is the Johnson & Johnson
I don't think it's been approved by the FDA yet, has it?
No,
it's only
in the process.
Yeah. My understanding is that it's only like 60% effective, and now they're having issues. AstraZeneca is also having issues down in Africa, and they're stopping the vaccine down there because they're having issues with that one not being as good as it should be. So it's still a scatter shot right now. So if anything, people, make sure you brush up on your information. Make sure you do what's best for you to get your shots. But please, if you can get your shots, get them and get the 2 shots. Don't be silly. Just go ahead and just get them.
Although I saw something interesting tonight on the news, which is that the Johnson & Johnson shot might be more effective against the South Africa virus or variant or whatever.
Also the British variant of COVID.
Yeah, what the hell?
Of the vaccine, which they need to get that down there because the AstraZeneca one isn't working so well.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I know it's not.
Yeah, I'm waiting for like the Guam one, the Guam variant or some weird one like that,
Oh, yeah, or the Rio de Janeiro variant, the one that's
no. We need the Chicago variant where you automatically don't eat hot dogs with ketchup. There you go.
You get the variant for Chicago, you have to eat pizza in order to take care of it.
Or the Wisconsin variant of COVID where it's only transmitted through cheese curds.
Or Packer fans. What do you want? Or one of the two.
Packer fans.
That's its own disease. That's the Packer disease.
That's transmittable through cheese hats.
Yeah. Not just cheese heads.
Man.
Yeah. It's passed down from generation to generation.
So you just been doing the spinning wheel, doing the spinning there. You got some drama there on the spinning wheel, but it sounds like you've worked it out.
Yeah. We for the most part have hammered out the details, and it's been a very happy page in the last week. So it's been really good.
I've brought order and justice to my new Facebook page.
Yay!
Hit him over the head with a bad record. Hit him over the head with a record you don't like, or something like that. I don't know.
Execute order 45.
Well, I've raised my fair share of eyebrows already with my broadcast of records that they're just like, I mean, the big word is like bloody hell, like, oh really? And it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun when you go back on pages and you watch the people that have watched you on the program, and then you find out, oh, I just got my record from America. I'm like, oh, look at that! You have been listening. That's cool. It's got its perks, man. It's very satisfying.
Just tell him Robbie Williams sucks.
F the Queen.
F the Queen.
Okay. Well, all right, you guys.
Tell them to drive on the other side of the road. What the hell are they doing?
They're called fries, not chips.
Now you're sounding like a European Vacation, which I just saw on television recently again.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Parliament, Big Ben, kids.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go left. I can't go left. I can't go left. Big Ben. I can't go left.
We're sending Ivan to Great Britain.
Yeah.
He'd
never come back.
According to Jimmy Temple Enterprises, I am going. So
Oh,
so
okay. In a crate?
Huh?
Crate.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
In a crate?
In a shipping container on a boat?
Yeah, with holes?
A little chest with holes. Just throw a bag of zaps at me and some water. That's on the boat.
No, I don't know about boat, but okay. So Mike, anything else? I thought you did a game night.
Mike,
yeah, we had a game night Saturday. Of course, so this is the weekend I have to work, so I've just been busy with the cold Sunday and with the Super Bowl, and everyone was just worried of the cold Sunday. It was a busy day Saturday, and then Saturday night, one of my friends bailed because we got a couple inches of snow, and with the negative wind chills and the snowing and blowing. Actually, we had some accidents around by me on Friday night when we got the we got like 1 or 2 inches, and it kept blowing on Friday, and then the cold hit. But yeah, I did have a game night Saturday. We played Thunderstone Quest, and my buddy and I, he finds these homebrewed, like, other missions, like, that aren't in the rule book. Like, people, like, you know how it is. Like, the one guy who's, like, finds, you can play this kind of mission where instead of this rule, you can just do it backwards. I'm like, all right. So
yeah, we have those in role playing too, where it's like, well, I found this character variant online, and I'd like to play this, and here's my homebrew version, and you're like, no.
And you wrote these numbers at home? I don't think so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, you mean this character that's going to wreck my game? Fuck this shit. It's out of here. No way.
Yeah.
No, we're not running that.
But we had a good time. It was fun. Had a good time. Worked the weekend. Yeah, obviously we watched episode 5 of Wandavision. It blew my mind. So we'll get into that in a bit. Let's see what else. Watched more of the season 2 of Tales from the Tour Bus. Ivan, you got to catch this show. There are clips on YouTube. You can find little snippets of this show. But it's a great show. It's like I said, they're 30-minute encapsulations, but these great stories between like last week I talked about what we watched. What was it last week? I watched the episode with Morris Day and the Time.
Yeah, that's what it was. You're right.
That was the one. I had to check my notes. I cheated. But that was good. Of course, the other ones I watched with Rick James. That was really good, too, the Rick James one.
Okay.
Rick James, bitch!
Yeah. Unfortunately, and that's what one thing Mike Judge says. Is like, unfortunately, most of you only know Rick James from the Dave Chappelle skit, and that's kind of sad. Because of how he never got his video shown on MTV. And also, like, when Hammer approached him to sample his music, and Rick James like, okay. And then he heard the song on the radio and was like, this son of a bitch, he stole my song. And then the first royalty check came, and he's like, he shut up real quick. But that's the only Grammy he ever won, was the Grammy he won with Hammer for Ken Touches.
You know what's funny about that? It reminds me of a story. Ricky Henderson is notorious for shit like that. The Major League Baseball player, the guy who's the all-time base stealing king. It was funny because he's playing. I can't remember where it was, but he's playing someplace, and he's like, I played with another guy who used to wear a baseball helmet out in the field when I was back in Toronto, and it was funny because it's like, yeah, Ricky, it's me, John Allrood. I was that guy in Toronto. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, true story. If you Google Ricky Henderson stories, Ricky Henderson quotes, you will laugh till the cows come home. I mean, I swear to God, there's like Rick. Some of the things Ricky Henderson has said rivals Yogi Berra. Okay. Because because Ricky likes to talk about Ricky in third person. A lot. So Ricky feeling Ricky because Ricky knows what Ricky is because Ricky is Ricky, baby.
Okay, I'll look it up. But yeah,
there's some good stuff.
Yeah, like I said, it's season 2 of Tales from the Tour Bus. It's out there. You can find it. It's on. I don't know if it's on. It's on. Not on Netflix, but it's out there. Let's see what else.
That reminds me. I have a homework assignment for Ivan because I'm curious to get his reaction. Ivan, do you have Amazon Prime or no?
Amazon Prime? No, I'm not.
Okay. Or Amazon Video, or whatever you want to call it.
Or Amazon Video, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
Okay. If you get a chance, that One Night in Miami thing, where it's Ali and Jim Brown and Malcolm X and Sam Cooke.
Oh, I've heard about that. I did see commercials on that.
So I saw it last week, and it was interesting because really the big thing about the whole thing is, for the most part, is most of the movie is Malcolm X and Sam Cooke going back and forth.
Well,
talking, and some of the stuff that comes out, like about how Malcolm X is giving Sam Cooke a hard time about not being out there as much as he should, and then Sam Cooke talking about, well, how do you know I'm not like? I can't remember what song it was that he was talking about that ended up where it was he ended up selling it to the Rolling Stones, and that guy who was him and the guy who wrote that song made like millions more than if he had released it himself, kind of thing. And I was like, there was some really interesting, good stuff that I don't think I knew.
What was the name of this film?
It's One Night in Miami. It's actually nominated for, not that Golden Globes mean shit anymore, but it is nominated for a Golden Globe.
Okay, because actually, when I saw the commercials for that, yes, it did pique my interest, and the fact that a lot of the triad, which was Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X and Sam Cooke, that really did exist, because at one point they, here it is. You got an up and coming rising boxing star, an up and coming man who literally put the face of soul music out there, and then Malcolm X, being the orator that he was, and that was a very real thing, and there was a lot that was being done to suppress that. If you see the documentary of Sam Cooke, it does bring those elements to life, and still brings about the conspiracy. Well, not conspiracy theory. I'm sorry.
Oh, did we lose Ivan?
Did we lose him? Uh-oh.
Yeah, the theory.
Oh, okay, you start over, Ivan. You knocked out.
Okay, so what happened was, it brings to light the theory of why Sam Cooke was allegedly murdered, which a lot of that does hold gravity because of the fact that when it all went to trial, there was no real investigation. No real evidence was put forward. And they even talked to the lady who was in the hotel that night. Years later, by that time, most of her memory was gone, and she still stuck with her story that she was trying to depend on, that Sam Cooke tried attacking her, and that's why she shot Sam Cooke. And, but there is a theory, though, that holds to the fact that, there were black people that a lot of people thought were coming up too big, coming up too fast, and they were afraid that, literally like Sam Cooke's song, a change was going to come. And there was a lot of people that didn't like that idea.
Well, in fairness, this is so basically the time frame is before that song gets out.
Well, yeah, it's early 60s.
Right. The premise, basically the point of the premise on the movie is, it's Muhammad Ali is just about to become Muhammad Ali.
Right.
Sam Cooke has not done that song yet, or put that out there, and right. Jim Brown is at that point where he's thinking about going straight into movies and telling everybody to take a flying leap from playing football anymore. And Malcolm X is about to leave the Prophet Elijah Muhammad. That it's like I said, just to give perspective as to where the time frame is on this particular movie. But yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, and it'd be interesting for you to check it out because, like I said, Sam Cooke and Malcolm X in this movie are going back and forth a lot.
Well, yeah, a lot. Why? Because they did have that. They did have that camaraderie. They did have that friendship. It goes deeper. It goes deeper than that because my understanding of it, there was a lot of monies that shifted back and forth that created the situations that Sam Cooke got to enjoy. Because let's face it, Sam Cooke, when he was 27 years old, by the time he was 27, he had his own publishing company. He had his own record label. He had the right to all of his masters. He was his own.
And that's what he talks about too.
Yeah, and James Brown was doing that too.
Yeah, the James Brown situation though was a little bit more like him putting Sid Nathan in his place. It was just like, Sid, I'm not going to have you putting out these, these are great songs, but you're not keeping an eye on the pressing plant, you're not keeping an eye on the numbers, and you know what, you're keeping two sets of books. Whereas you have a situation where you got these people, coming in and saying, hey, this could be a brotherhood of business people in all aspects of society, which when you look at it from that point of view and you look at the very late 1950s, very early 1960s when this whole thing was taking place, it was a point where, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay was going to become Muhammad Ali. Joe Brown was just like, screw you. I'm not playing for the man anymore. You got Malcolm X saying, the word needs to go out for the Prophet Muhammad. And, and going out there and putting the real word out there, whereas, and then Sam Cooke, here it is. And by the way, just for a reference point, in the song, A Change Is Going to Come, when they released the 45, they dropped a verse that didn't appear unless you bought the album, which of course it wasn't an album buying public, so that version got lost.
So it was a radio edit, or is just where the label edited?
Okay, the commercial copy that went out there was a radio edit, and it lacks one verse, one very important verse. So if you listen and go on the YouTube and get the full version of A Change Is Going to Come, you'll hear that verse, and it is a big statement about what was happening during the time. And it would, and it pulls the whole song together complete, because with the last verse being edited, it kind of brings only 3/4 of the story in. So and that was a strategy. So that way, had that last verse been in the 45, that record would have probably reached out more than just the charts, but just the psyche of black people in general at that time and place. It would have made Sam Cooke, whether he wanted it to or not, make a statement upon which was the human condition of black people in that time.
Okay. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, so any.
I know it sounds fancy.
Anything else?
Yeah, I want to see it.
Anything else, Mike? Did you buy anything? Did you get anything cool? Did you?
No, not yet. But apparently, the Haslab Unicron is starting to hit customers in Malaysia, because obviously they're built overseas and now they have to ship. They got to go over the ocean. So us in North America are not expecting ours until late March. But they're starting to show up, and I'm looking forward to doing it. They've made some minor changes, and a lot of people are.
Can you explain that to me? Because I don't think that was English for me.
Yeah, the Haslab Unicron. About 2 years ago, Haslab crowdfunded a Unicron figure, and Unicron is the monster planet from the '86 Transformers movie. And they made a figure in it, and it's the largest retail. It's largest. Now, well, there have been larger ones made by third parties, but this is the largest Transformer ever made by Hasbro.
All right.
And it's like 28 inches, 29 inches, I believe. And they're starting to hit customers. They're getting delivered to customers out in Malaysia and Hong Kong, because the factories are. I think they're built in Vietnam. They're not made in China anymore. And they're YouTubers putting out unboxing videos, and they're demonstrating how it transforms and how it poses and all the stuff it comes with. And a lot of people are butthurt over the changes they've made from the original pictures from when they first unveiled this project. They've made some color changes. There have been some mold variations, and people are saying, we didn't get what we were advertised. And well, right now the black market value, the aftermarket, is close to $2,000, where we paid $575 for these. So, of course, that's when when most of the North American retailers hit that, then it's going to be a little bit different story. That might the fear of missing out, or FOMO, as we call it, is once it might start to wane by the next month. But the fact that they're starting to take it now, and some people pay extra, hundreds of dollars extra to get it early.
It's the bragging rights.
To pay bragging rights and early tax, and like I said, fear of missing out. So they're starting to hit now, and I'm looking forward to get mine. I got to figure out where I'm going to display it. I might have to move a few things because it's big. And
if it's a planet, wouldn't you just put everything else on the planet?
Well, it's not that big.
Oh, but it's not a planet now, is it?
Well, it's not the scale, obviously, because if it was, it'd be bigger than this house. But anyway, that's
then
coming.
It's not the largest transformer yet.
It is the largest one that Hasbro's ever made.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, the largest transformer is still in Japan.
That's not a transformer. That's a Gundam.
That's a Gundam. Yeah.
That's
even Jeff
Gundam.
knows that's not a. Even Jeff knows it's a Gundam. But like I said,
whoop, Gundam style.
Gundam, not Psy. Oh my God, we're in 2012. So yeah,
better than now.
Yeah. I miss 2012.
2012 wasn't bad.
It was a very good year.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's it. I guess I had a pretty busy week, but it's coming together, and I'm just snow and the cold. It's winter. It is what it is.
Yeah,
you were just talking about that earlier. Jeff and I were just like, it's just today was just kind of a lackadaisy, lackluster, blah type of day because it's gray, it's cold, it's snow, it's
this is why I hate February. I used to have, I took a year off because of all this crap about the war on February. People gave me crap about it. Because I love Valentine's Day and we have birthdays in February. I'm like, I don't give a shit. This is the worst month of the year. Every year it's the same damn shit. It's cold, it's snow, and it's icy, and it's freaking freezing. And every time somebody sits there and says, "Oh well, we had a mild December and we had a mild January," people are like, I can live with it through February. No, you can't. Because February basically sits there and goes, hey, you know what? We're going to take everything you should have gotten December and January, and we're going to do it in less than a week. And P.S., I got another at least 21 days of this shit coming for you. And if it's a leap year, you get another 29 days of this shit. So F you.
And whoever made the calendar hated it so much they gave it 2 less days so it could be over with.
Yeah, seriously.
As a consolation, give us an extra one every 4 years. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other consolation is in the middle of it, 6 weeks after you had to go buy your loved one the greatest loved one gift ever, you have to spend every little dime you have left on this thing called Valentine's Day. Because if you don't, because maybe you won't love them anymore. What kind of bullshit is this?
That's just commercialism in its purest form.
Yeah. And if you don't show up to Julie with now watch Julie goes to go, oh, I don't need that. Yeah, right.
Oh, no.
It's a trap.
No. That lie. Don't believe that lie. That's
a trap.
It's absolutely a trap.
Oh, honey, don't worry about it. I don't want nothing for Valentine's Day. I know we don't got a lot of money and everything, but you know what they're saying inside? Bitch, you better go ahead and have my cake.
You better have them chocolates. You better have them roses.
That shit ready.
You better have something. You better have something I love.
You want this, man. You better go out and pay for this shit so that we can get it.
Valentine's Day is on a Sunday this year, and now with us coming out of Phase 3, some restaurants are starting to reopen indoor dining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I'm ready for you.
Nothing says I love you like wearing a mask on your Valentine's Day dinner.
Oh yeah, can you imagine something? You're like,
I see. There is porn with them wearing masks and shit.
They sound like Kenny,
Sweet.
So yeah. let's see. What did I caught the end of The Expanse. So season 5's in the books. You know, if you can get a chance, or Mike, if you want, I'll see if I can.
What platform is it on?
Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon.
I'm going to pay for Amazon for a month because I'm going to watch Coming to America 2. So I'll catch The Expanse then.
The problem is there's 5 freaking seasons, so there's a lot there.
Well, I'll watch season 1, and if I like it, then we'll see.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where season 1 you're like, it starts to cook really in season 2.
Okay.
But you need that season 1 primer.
Yeah. And I finished Star Trek Discovery last week. Season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. Season 2 is better. And now, of course, spoilers for Star Trek Discovery for those who care. Saru is like my favorite character, and now he's taking a leave of absence to care for this other Kelpian. So I'm like, oh no, don't take my Saru away from me. And now, because the show has always been about Michael Burnham, and it was only a matter of time before you knew she was going to become captain of Discovery. Well, it happened.
Oh, God.
End of season 3, she has become the captain of the USS Discovery.
Are they still all the way out in the middle of the future?
Yeah, they are in the 31st century. That's where they're stuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he took a leave of absence in the future. Okay.
Well, Saru did. So now Burnham is the captain in this new Starfleet in the 31st century. And I'm like, I liked season 2 with Captain Pike. I want to watch the Captain Pike show. I'm more excited about that. And now with Saru getting taken away, I don't know. I put up there with just like with season 1 of Picard. It's like it's but I'm still I want to see the Pike show. That's what I'm most excited about.
There you go.
Oh well, so yeah, it was just there, and it had some cool parts. And there's one unforgivable scene with like a chase in the turbolifts of Discovery that's just inexcusable. It's bullshit. It's like Star Trek 5 level bullshit. I'm like, no. How did they get away with this? It's stupid. Anyway, so yeah, season 3 of Discovery was nah.
Why would God need a starship?
What does God need with a starship?
Yeah.
No. Anyway, so yeah, they break the rules of the technobabble or whatever. It's like, do you even see like a map of this ship? Anyway. So yes, I'll catch The Expanse if I can next month. I'll watch a little bit of it and see if I'm
well, like I said, I'm not going to say anything, but some people might have access to it, so you could get to it sooner. Or something.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more.
Right. I did catch. I finally got around to the third and final season of Designated Survivor, which was airing on ABC, and then they did a 10-episode season on Netflix. And it's kind of funny because, it was enjoyable. If you've watched the show, it was enjoyable. It was nice to have those characters back. I get why they're not doing a season 4. And you could tell that based on the way they were wrapping things up that wasn't going to happen anyway. But it was enjoyable. It was good. I mean, look, it's Kiefer Sutherland, Cal Penn. You get the idea. I mean, there were some big time actors in that particular piece. It's a solid watch. I guess I give it out of 5 AMs. I guess I give it 3.75. I mean, again, if you're looking for a show, the best way to put it is if you're looking for a show where you're looking for that political a little bit of that political show with a little bit more thriller to it. That doesn't. It's like if you added some actual real thriller to, say, The West Wing or Madam Secretary, this is what you're looking for. Because the only thing that's bothersome is we never get Kiefer Sutherland doing like the Jack Bauer going, "Damn it!" We don't get that at all. Which after a while you're like, "Come on, give it to me, just give it to me."
Just give me one good shot. Come on.
Well, because you missed the whole. Okay, you're a terrorist. I'm gonna kill you. I'm Jack Bauer. That kind of thing. From 24 back in the day. I did see the new release from HBO Max. I saw Little Things with Denzel Washington and Rami Malek and Jared Leto. or Leto, or however you want to go.
I think it's Leto.
Leto, whatever. The point being is, so that's the new release that's in theaters that also got released by HBO Max at the same time. It's 2 hours. It's kind of slow in places. I mean, the best way to put it is, it has that Seven vibe. If you ever saw the movie Seven,
okay.
In terms of that, and it's not a happy ending movie. It's definitely not an ending of a movie where you're going to sit there and you're going to go, oh, I totally get it. No, you're going to walk away and go, well, wait, I'm confused. It's definitely that movie. It's one of those kinds of movies. They're all really good in it. I know Jared got nominated for a Golden Globe on this too. I don't know. At times it took a while. It got plotting at points. I can see why maybe the movie itself didn't get nominated. I'd say I give it 3 out of 5. I mean, if you've got HBO Max, it's worth checking out. But be prepared for the fact that there are going to be points where it's like, it just felt like it was slow. It just needed to pick up the pace a little bit.
It needed some juice and points.
Yeah. The only other thing, obviously, like I said, I feel like I spent most of the rest of my weekend playing on this Clubhouse app that's now out there. It's just crazy. Just crazy.
I have to find out about this Clubhouse app now.
Like I said, the best way I could explain it is, if you took, public speaking and kind of like radio and podcasting, and you threw it all together, and what it reminds me of? You kind of laugh when I'm going to say this. It's a more adult. When I say adult, I mean in terms of how people purport themselves here. It kind of reminds me of the old school party lines, except it's a little bit more. It's a lot more professional on some level, and a lot more. How do I say? It's a lot more civil on some. Now, in fairness, there might be some places that are not so civil. I just haven't found them yet. But the other thing that's interesting is you can't just come onto that app. You have to get an invite from somebody. And my understanding, now I've only been on for a little bit, but my understanding is when you invite somebody on, and if something goes really, really bad with that person, it can cost you to no longer be on Clubhouse. Wow. So I think that's kind of
there's a bit of clout with the Clubhouse.
Yeah, and in fairness, that was the first reason why I didn't really want to go on there initially, because I'm like, well, fine, you can take your, and there are some attitudes on there like that whole, okay, everybody's somebody, I'm this big time person, or
somebody sometime.
Well, it's all about the social. There are some things where it's all about social clout, but I like I said to Ivan, I do see some stuff like music rooms. I haven't checked those out yet. So I'm kind of curious because it might be something for Ivan, for example, for Ivan, when he's talking about what he's talking about right now, it might be something down the road for you guys to check out.
You got to know somebody to get in, like Studio 54 or something.
Well, I mean, the irony is
Studio 54.
Well, I mean, the irony, I'll give you an example. The three of us.
Where's Charlie?
I mean, but here's an example. The three of us could do Squares of the Roundtable podcast on the app, and essentially we'd have a live audience for it if people popped in or not. Now, granted, we can let people ask questions and stuff if they want to. We can bring people up to come up and talk. We can knock people out if we don't want to. But essentially, we could do this show with a live audience. If we did Clubhouse.
I'd like that.
The only thing would be, I think there's a way to record what you're doing on Clubhouse, but I don't know how to do that yet.
Well, if I was on a MacBook, I probably could.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But again, something to consider that, like I said, because that was the one thing I thought immediately. I was like, hey, you know what? We could do Squares of the Roundtable on there.
Yes, I wouldn't mind doing that.
And because, one of the things we joked about is, we should do Facebook. And we're all like, we don't want to be on screen. We don't want to be on screen. We don't want to do all that stuff. We have to look pretty and all that shit.
We got faces for radio.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason we all were in radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all have faces for radio, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So I guess because I know we're running a little on the long side. I guess let's get to it. By the way, that was the other thing. Like, they had rooms on WandaVision. I swear to God, you'd have thought that they were breaking down the fucking Zapruder film. The way they were going over this thing.
By dissecting every frame?
Like, every frame, every aspect.
That's what we've expected with Marvel films. So they've added so many Easter eggs in some of these Marvel films.
Well,
with name drops or even just stuff in the background or...
Like product endorsements and stuff?
No, not just product placements, but I mean just like little nods to comics and obscure villains and characters from forgotten pages of these. We've got decades and decades of lore to mine.
And fan service and
exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Fan service.
Yeah.
So episode 5 of WandaVision. If you haven't watched it, spoilers. Pause this and watch it. It's only a half hour. Come back.
Seriously, because I'll be honest, if you haven't watched it and you're going to keep going, you think you can get through this, you should turn back now.
Yeah. So episode 1, 2, and 3 was a 50s, 60s, and 70s episode, and episode 4 was a recap pretty much in the real world of what's going on and how Monica got her way in. And episode 5, it revolves around an 80s episode a la Family Ties, where it's a comedy,
and
but there's
Growing Pains.
Yeah, or Growing Pains, yeah. Where it's a serious episode, some serious stuff went down. At the same time, you've got events happening in the real world. And, a lot of stuff went down. Vision is starting to realize that none of this is making sense at all. He's wondering why there are and his children, all of a sudden they age 5 years in front of them, from in front of their faces, in front of their neighbor, and she doesn't seem to care. But Vision is figuring out that this is not what it's supposed to be, and he knows that he's not subject to her influences, and we know that these people they're real. All these citizens of this town, they're being held hostage. They're playing a part in this sitcom of Wanda's creation. Whether she created it initially or not, we don't know.
Right.
But it's happening, and now this is like she's like you cuddling in it like a warm blanket. She doesn't want to leave. Anyone who's interfering has deemed a threat. And there's a rumor. Of course, we can go on for hours about what rumors or what. But anyway, there's a continuation of what's happening outside with Wu and Darcy and
Monica.
And Monica, yeah, because they've analyzed her, and the bulletproof vest. It was cool. One cool thing is that the bulletproof vest she wore was changed into her 70s outfit. So now the dress that she came out of is bulletproof, and Wanda is changing matter into
antimatter.
Not antimatter.
No.
She's taking what's and it's changing into period piece accurate attire. Like you fly in a drone, and it's gonna in the 50s episode it turned into a toy airplane. So they took an 80s drone and they flew it in. It didn't change, and the scene they're just trying to contact her. Where Monica's on the radio, and then this douchebag director of SWORD or whoever the dude with the guy in charge here.
Douchebag.
Yeah, he says take the shot, and Monica's like, whoa, what? And of course, nothing happened. And then she comes out and she's all like, don't mess with my don't
with the missile in hand. By the way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And she uses her powers to turn all the soldiers' guns on him, temporarily, and
which is right out of both X-Men, both Magnetos do that, and both the what's his name, the older guy, and,
Xavier.
No, not that, the guy who played him.
Oh, Sir Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen and
Fassbender, obviously.
And Fassbender, yeah, both of them do that at one point in their movie.
Where all their guns turn, whether It's whether it's mental or metal manipulation.
Yeah.
So they're devising. Sounds like they're devising a plan because there was a teaser in the mid-season trailer of them driving a vehicle in to Westview. But at the same time, okay, with the kids, their sons, Timmy and Jimmy, or Johnny and Timmy. I don't remember the names. And
I think Timmy and Bill. Is it
Billy and Timmy?
Billy.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think they're one of them. At least one of them is in the modern comics.
Actually, both of them are.
Both of them are in current.
Both of them are. Both of them
Marvel
are.
Run.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're part of the Young Avengers grouping.
Okay. So, like I said, there's so much minutia to cover, but the big spoiler was that their Vision confronts Wanda about he's like, stop lying to me, and it almost comes to blows because she knows she's hiding something. This isn't real, and the door knocks, and she's like, it isn't me, and so we open the door, and I was thinking Doctor Strange, honestly. I was thinking maybe that was him, but we open the door, and it's Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men films, not her brother that died in Age of Ultron. And Darcy, we see a Darcy is watching this because it's on the TV broadcast. She's the one who discovered the TV broadcast, and she exclaims, "She recast Pietro."
Yep.
And I guess he's going to play the role of like the lovable, like sort of like on Family Ties, like the sister's boyfriend.
Well, we'll see.
I think that was the vibe I got.
But there's a few things also in there that are in there as well. Like, for example, the two kids seem to be immune to Wanda's magic, and the one kid looks at the other kid before they do like the age change to get to 10. So that, like, basically it's kind of like I look at this person and we look at each other, we agree, and then they aged. Yeah. There is the dog. They get the dog. My understanding is the whole thing with the dog, the way he died, is very similar to what was in the Vision comics that Tom King did, or similar to
the
that.
Visions comic that goes from a couple of years ago?
I'm understanding that's very similar to that, that pays homage to that. To your point about they recast Pietro
or Quicksilver.
Quicksilver. There's a moment where the head of sword is sitting there talking about, well, she goes by another name, right? And everybody's like, no, just Wanda. She doesn't have another name.
Yeah, they never called her Scarlet Witch in the MCU.
Right, and it's interesting because he goes, no, I'm pretty sure she goes by another name, which has a lot of people thinking that there's more to the director than what meets the eye. Yeah. The other thing is that, and this is something, again, like I said, I was in this Clubhouse thing. They went over this thing like a Zapruder film. They did make out one interesting thing, which is, so they have a scene where, to justify everything that's going on with what's going on, is Wanda has broken into Sword and taken Vision.
Yeah, where the security footage of her stealing Vision's corpse.
To which the question is, what was Sword doing with Vision?
Why wasn't his body destroyed? I'm sure it was just because of vibranium, because they couldn't. Yeah, what did they have a funeral for him after the snap, or did Vision's body disappear when the snap happened? I presume it didn't.
No,
because he was dead before the snap.
No,
so I presume they had a burial for him,
or something. Like I said, that's the one thing that I thought was interesting was, what were they doing with Vision's body? How long have they had Vision's body? For how long?
Obviously, for the 5 years plus the whatever weeks that followed after the events of Endgame.
Exactly. So to me, it's very, very interesting, and that's a legit question to ask. Is, what is it there that was going on there? The other thing is, so the commercial was for Laos. Laos is where. And
Lagos. Wasn't it Lagos paper towels?
Oh, yeah, it was Lagos paper towels. But Lagos is where they were in Captain America Civil War when Wanda accidentally blows up the building.
Right.
At the beginning of Captain America Civil War. So there's that. I gotta tell you, so before we get into the real thing, I'm still not convinced. I'm not convinced that it couldn't be Hydra.
Yeah, I mean and as Jimmy Woo was trying to explain to the director about, he was kind of sugarcoating their history. They kind of, as they did like a sit rep or a recap or whatever you want to call it, explaining her and her brother to this crew who were about to encounter Wanda, about how they were raised. They were radicalized by Hydra, and then using the which Infinity Stone was it? The Reality Stone? No.
I can't remember.
Which Infinity Stone was it that they used?
No, it's the blue one. It's the
Tesseract.
Right, the one from the Tesseract.
Okay.
Yeah.
They used the Tesseract, and that's how these two got their powers, apparently, these twins.
Yes, from the cosmic.
In the MCU, not obviously, obviously in the comics, they're offspring of Magneto, but it's a different situation here.
Well, and that's the other thing too that I've heard talked about too, is the fact that Vision's powers came from a whatchamacallit stone. Wanda's powers come from one of those stones.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel's powers come from one of those stones, which might explain
indirectly. Yeah.
Which might explain, and I feel like there's going to be some backstory to Monica because, like, for example, okay, how did she end up? Because it's very clear she's going to have powers. And it's interesting, when Captain Marvel gets brought up, she does have a weird look on her face.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, you look at the events of Captain Marvel, and they're having an argument as well, was it Monica said that she almost could have taken out Thanos herself if it weren't for him raining the fire down on everybody. And Wu makes an offhand comment saying, well, Captain Marvel gave him, she almost did it too. And she kind of, there's no love lost. I think just the fact that Captain Marvel never returned after the 90s. She was out saving the galaxy, saving the universe out there. She never came back to see her.
I'm not positive that these are not all questions we won't get in Captain Marvel 2, which obviously is coming out. So now we get to the fun part, which is this whole thing with them going an entirely different where, okay, we're going to get Peter, a.k.a. Quicksilver, from the X-Men comics from the Marvel, from the Fox movies. And it's funny because people were talking about, this isn't the time we're going to bring in mutants. And I kind of laugh because it's like, you don't have to bring in mutants into the MCU. They don't have to be from the MCU. At this point, they could be mutants from the Fox MCU if you're going to create a multiverse.
Right. I mean, the next Doctor Strange is literally called Multiverse. So. Right.
And I agree with you. I think Doctor Strange at some point does have to show up in this show. Just based on everything we're hearing about, she's going to be in the Doctor Strange movie. She might be his apprentice at that point. And then, certain things that we've heard about that. I don't think this is the end. There's certain people who are like, oh, this is fan service to the fans about them doing this. I don't think so.
No, they're playing the long game. They're setting it up for bringing in more Marvel characters. Obviously, it's their property now. They can do whatever they want. It's their sandbox.
Well, I mean, again, here's the thing. We've sat here and asked the question, how are they going to bring okay, what do you do? How do you bring the X-Men in? How do you deal with all this stuff? Well, here's an easy answer. And it's an answer none of us thought about, which is, okay, they're going to make a bunch of MCU versions. Or you have a multiverse, and guess who's in this other multiverse?
Yeah, everybody.
Here's the X-Men. Boom. Just like what looks like is going to happen with this Spider-Man 3 movie, where literally you're going to have all three of them, and you're going to have villains from different movies.
And
from
Willem Dafoe is confirmed on set for Spider-Man 3.
Right, and Alfred Molina has been confirmed, and Jamie Foxx has been confirmed, and all of them supposedly are reprising their Spider-Man villain characters.
Villainous roles as Spider-Man bad guys.
Well, but the point being, they're all in different universes.
Right.
So
different films, different, the Sonyverse.
Right, and we know Doctor Strange is in that movie. So, it just turns into, to me, like I said, at this point, look, the question is how much budget they had and who could they sneak on without anybody noticing onto this set, because I think that becomes the question with who else is left. Because there were comments out there about, somebody we didn't expect to get, who I was really looking forward to, who I wasn't expecting to be on the show. Obviously this could fall into that, but I feel like there's more to this. Like, there could be a lot more that's going to come out of this. And like I said to you privately, I think it'd be really cool. I'm sure they can't get a hold of Sir Ian McKellen, although I'd love this. It would be really awesome to see Michael Fassbender and Ian McKellen at the same time in the same screen, basically both as Magneto. Because why couldn't you do it?
It's the future, Charles.
Right. Well, it's not only the future. If you're really going to play with time and space, let's play with time and space. But
the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. Now that it's all owned by Disney, it's all on the same umbrella.
Yeah. And the only other thing is, Monica texts somebody who's an aerospace engineer. There's all kinds of speculation as to who
she's talking about. Yeah,
who she's talking about, and it was funny because a lot of people's money is on Reed Richards. I kind of think it's supposedly they've already cast Ruby Williams for Ironheart.
If they cast her, then I think we'd have known by now.
No, it's out there that there was a casting for Ruby Williams.
They're casting for her. Okay.
Or they have, but the point being is they have casted for her. The interesting part to me is, why would you cast for somebody that early?
Yeah. So we got 40. Any of your points you want to add?
Well, I think, like I said, the idea of, it's really funny because if you remember, Wesley Snipes was pining real bad to be back to be Blade again. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they're going a different direction with it. And the irony to me is that I'm laughing about right now is opening the door to these multiverses. Like, you could bring back Wesley Snipes' Blade.
If you want to do it, and if
you wanted to do it, you can, because you've opened the door for that possibility if you really are creating a multiverse like that. And to take it a step further, you could bring Thomas Jane back when he played the Punisher. You could even get this, Dolph Lundgren when he played the Punisher. And if you really want to go even further, okay, remember all those really kind of crappy 70s Captain America and Spider-Man shows?
Yeah.
I love that old Spider-Man show in the 70s.
And to take it a step further, could you imagine if we had Lou Ferrigno walking in as the Hulk now? As like a Hulk at that age? There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
That can be created because now everybody's in the same frame.
Like I said, anything goes at this point. So
right, and that's the thing I thought was interesting because there was a lot of people who seem to want to see this as a throw off, and I don't think it is. I think that they're using, and again, it depends on where they're going with this. Who's really the villain here? What's really going on? Yeah. How is this all going about? Who's doing what to do what? And how this is all going about. That's going to be the big factor here. But I can't imagine that somebody didn't have that in their brain. That when you open a door like this and you're going to create multiverses, all right, let's now map out every Marvel film or anything we've done that would have been technically from another Marvel universe. And I have to take it a step further. Here, want to really go crazy? Okay. When does Howard the Duck show up from the Howard the Duck movie?
Yeah, I think that was a project that they had started because they teased him in both the Guardian films, but there was an animated series in the works, but I think they canned it, obviously.
I'm talking about the bad, horrible one from the 80s that everybody can't stand.
Mm-hmm. The one with Lee Thompson and Rick Moranis.
Yeah, the one with the duck tits.
Yeah. But the point being is, if you wanted to do it as a gag piece where it's like you wanted to show, if you really want, like I said, if you're opening these doors, at some point, look, you know they map these things out like crazy. At some point, somebody...
Other overlords.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad movie. But the point being is, you know that somebody sat down, you know that somebody had to sit down, if you're going to have multiverse, and sat there and said, what's every Marvel thing we've ever created that we've done a movie or TV show for that is live action that could technically be set in a multiverse? You know somebody had to do it.
It almost sounds like, okay, I don't know if you guys remember a series called Drawn Together.
Yep.
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Something along the lines of that.
Well, it's similar, but if anything, it's, hey, you know what? That Crisis of Infinite Earths thing, that sounds like a good idea. We'll fuck with that too, and we'll use it for Marvel.
Yeah.
And hey, DC, here's our giant FU, and we're gonna steal your own shit. By the way, Mike, I keep hearing Mystifio is the villain. I'm gonna throw out a crazy thought, and I'm curious your take.
Huh?
Because obviously, whoever's doing this has to be freaking powerful as hell.
Mephisto or Mysterio?
Well,
Mysterio was a sham because we figured out.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about.
What do you mean, Mephisto?
Yeah, Mephisto. Yeah. That's the name that keeps getting thrown out.
Somebody mentioned a villain named Mojo because he deals in television broadcasts. I'm like, I don't know if that could work.
I'll tell you, but the problem is Mojo doesn't have this power level.
No.
But there is somebody who does have this power level. And actually has an even bigger power level than this. And I know Marvel's been wanting to do this. And I know they want to do it badly. The Beyonder.
Well, do you think they had the compunction to want to do all that?
Well, with the upcoming, Eternals movie that I guess it's been in the can for a year now. Another.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beyonder, I don't know.
Well, but here's the interesting thing about the Beyonder. And this is the only reason I'm bringing it up. You're going to do all these multiverses, and you're going to be able to pull from all these crazy places. Could you imagine the kind of Secret Wars you could do?
Yeah, they could set up for Secret Wars. We had teased, obviously, with Captain Marvel. We thought we were going to get in Secret Invasion, but maybe they're setting it up
and
too.
that's what people really think we're moving towards. But
yeah.
I know, look, if you're not, it's really in reality, okay, so you did Infinity War. And really, in reality, probably, look, Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War, I get those were big. But before there was any of those, Secret War was the big of the big. That was, seriously, that is the first really major Marvel crossover event of all crossover events from the 80s. Honestly, the only reason it exists is because Marvel somehow got their hands on stuff in the garbage at DC, and they found out about Crisis of Infinite Earths and said, shit, we gotta do something. and that's the only reason why Secret Wars even exists.
Because they were hip to the tip on what DC was doing.
Right. So. And the irony is they beat DC to the market with it, too. Yeah. Which is hysterical to this day.
Yeah, well, we'll see what I'm super duper excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, no. Well, and, we got what? It's funny because I keep hearing it's 8 episodes. No, it's 9. No, it's 8. No, it's 9. I've heard 9.
Well, obviously they had a mid-season trailer after episode 4, so I presume there's 8. Maybe we'll get a bonus episode. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a two-parter that's be like a 1-hour finale.
Yeah, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's what's going to happen is that the last one is going to be it's going to be like that.
That's it. Anything goes. Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I just threw it out there. I was curious your take about the possibility of the Beyonder.
Because they drop on early in the morning on Friday, and I work 12 to 8 on Friday. So usually I just wait until after I get home from work. But after you texted me Friday morning, I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it right now, and I did. I went right to my television. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it now.
Well, it was funny. I woke up to go to the bathroom around like 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and I happened to look at Twitter, And I'm like, and it's like, I'm looking at comic book creators who are like, nobody fucking spoil. I'm like,
something's
going on. Shit.
Oh shit.
I'm like, at that point, I'm like, no more Twitter for the rest. No more Twitter until I watch the damn thing. Because Facebook's a little bit safe. Facebook's a little safer than Twitter. But I'm like, nope, no Twitter until I watch this.
Marvel's Facebook page dropped the spoiler today, actually.
Oh, did it? Well, yeah, I'm sure it did. Yeah. And that's Monday. I mean, that's kind of how they did it with Mandalorian, too. Yeah. But, yeah, I kind of laughed because it was like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to eat my breakfast. I'm going to watch this. And when they showed that end scene, I'm like, oh, man, who can I talk to? And it's funny. I put it out there. I'm like, I put it even on Facebook. I'm like, nobody freaking spoil it. And then I could click about a day later. I'm like, okay, here's the discussion panel. Let's go. Yeah. Let's talk. I'm ready to go. Let's talk. Because I'm like, who can I talk to?
Chomping at the bit, yeah.
Yeah, who can I talk to? Who can I talk to about this? Because that's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah. It's a terrible position you're in at that point.
You're used to binging. You're not used to this must-see TV every week.
No, I am, but it's called network television. It's not from, like, streaming. It's like, really? I gotta wait a week? Yep. This is streaming. Should I have to, should I get it, like, right away?
You can't have your cake and eat it every time, man.
You can't on Netflix. They fucking put everything out all at once.
So yeah, awesome. Can't wait for to see what.
Thoughts on the Falcon. The Falcon
Winter Soldier
Bucky
trailer. Glad to see Agent 13.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be like a buddy cop show. And that's what I presumed it was going to be. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, that too.
Well, and it's interesting because they took the I can't remember when they did that storyline where basically the American government came in and was like, yeah, and in fairness, they did it to Steve Rogers. And it was in the 90s where it was like, hey, you know what? You don't get to be Captain America anymore. We're taking your shield too. And they basically went and created their own Captain America that eventually became somebody known as U.S. Agent. I don't remember all the details to it. In fairness, I know enough to know this level. Don't ask me to go beyond it. But it looks like they're pulling from that set of storylines here. But yeah, I'm looking. And by the way, did you catch the Baron Zemo mask?
No, I didn't see that.
The purple mask.
Oh, that was Zemo's mask? Okay. Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
Yeah, so it looks like Zemo's going to be in it again, which is cool. I liked him as a villain, but it was interesting because in his hand is go back and watch it. There's a purple mask, and I'm like, ooh. And it looks more like a face mask, like a purple face mask. Okay. Like you'd wear like a ski mask kind of thing.
I thought it was just another Mexican wrestler. I don't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio's coming to take him on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good.
Rey Mysterio and Conan are coming to attack him, but, Zombie Eddie Guerrero will be showing up shortly. I don't know.
Nacho Libre will be there as well.
Nacho Libre, yeah.
Now we got our own version of Lucha Libre.
I saw Jack Black just put out a video on Twitter of him doing the Immigrant Song, doing some Thor Ragnarok stuff on his Twitter page. Put out the video. It's kind of fun.
I like old boy. I like Jack Black.
Yeah, he's all right.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's some DC. It's an actual worthwhile DC news, but I got to find it again. Yeah. Because it's been kind of a.
Well, did you post it to the Squares Roundtable Facebook page, where everyone should go and visit?
It might be there, or it could be on my page. I got to look.
Oh, okay.
So apparently, Henry Cavill will not be in Shazam 2.
Well, he wasn't in Shazam 1, so I presume he wasn't going to be.
There's been always this talk that.
I mean, if he wasn't in number 1, what page?
Well, they teased him. Trevor. Ivan and I saw it in the theater. We saw Shazam in the theater.
Yeah, we saw Shazam in the theater.
Yeah, and they teased him at the end, in the cafeteria scene at the end.
Right, but
Yeah, I was hoping.
Well, but there was talk that they were going to bring him back. They were going to try to bring him in to do a little bit in the movie, but it sounds like that's not happening. That's kind of too bad. There's more on this whole Buck Rogers thing. So apparently, as my understanding of it, Buck Rogers. It looked like, we talked about this last week where. I guess Clooney was involved with developing a new Buck Rogers project, but apparently the estate of Philip Francis Nolan is actually working with Skydance and not Legendary, so it's possible there might, I don't know if there's two projects or if maybe George Clooney may not have true access to the character. I mean, to me, I kind of laugh because it's like, how do I put this? We haven't had, we haven't had a Buck Rogers. I don't think there's been any
not
real
since
Buck
Gil
Rogers
Gerard's
project.
show ended,
right? And
it's been a bit. Do you think that after? Maybe a whole generation or two. Do you think the character is even relevant at this point?
That's what I said when I heard about this, when Jeff talked about it last week. I'm like,
well, we kind of, so here's what ends up happening is we have some of these, we have some of these characters that are long-time characters, and sometimes it turns into a rights problem. Like Dick Tracy's a great example, which is... Yeah.
Here we go with Warren Beatty, yep.
Right, because Warren Beatty, where he still, even to this day, has options for anything Dick Tracy related, so they're not...
That's his property. So...
Well, it's not his property, he just happens to have an agreement that says I get paid, even if I'm not technically involved, because it's in my contract that says, I had options to be able to do these things. And so that...
Well, he has the rights to it, is pretty much what you're saying.
Well, it's that he has options to it, not necessarily rights. Just like, I know there's issues with Flash Gordon that way, too.
Yeah, that's
where
too bad.
with Flash Gordon, I know there's issues like that, I think, with the Phantom as well as the Shadow. So it's, and it's unfortunate because some of these characters are longtime characters, but
again,
they're not.
But they've been out of sight and out of mind for so long. Even if they were
Phantom's
to go ahead,
from the freaking 30s. I think the Phantom's been around longer than Batman.
Yeah.
I know. What I'm saying is when I'm talking in recent pop culture.
Yeah.
A lot of these characters haven't seen the light of day. Some in 10, some in 20, some in 30 years. So
some longer than that.
And some longer than that. So here it is. You gotta question. Do these characters still have a viability in today's pop culture, or are they just going to be treated as remnants of nostalgia from the fans who liked them in the first place? And those fans have even become much older. And do they even still does it even count for them? Really,
well,
that would happen.
So let me.
The thing that would happen in a case like that would be if they were reinvented in a way.
Well, yeah,
modernize them, yeah.
Yeah, to reinvent them in a way and reimagine them in a way that not only sparks the curiosity of wanting to say, well, yeah, that's a great superhero, that's a great character, I'd like to know more about that, although the product is not there in the immediate, so they would have to go back further in order to find that product to actually get those storylines happening, or do what they were doing with the Joker, with the one standalone movie, and start creating these characters in that kind of in that kind of light, not quite like the Joker, but in that respect where you would have to go ahead and reimagine the whole situation, almost maybe even reimagine the universe from which they live in, reimagine the scenarios, bring them up to date, or even send them into an entire different time consortium, you know?
Well, okay, so let's take these kind of one at a time. With Buck Rogers, I'll kind of give you this. I'll give you that in that regard. But I'll give you an example where I think you may be off on this. It's like, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been over 40 years now. It's almost 40 or more than 40 years since that Flash Gordon movie from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. That Flash Gordon movie is now, like, considered cult classic. And one of the reasons it's considered cult classic is...
Well, the fandom never left.
Well, not only that... Right, all the Queen music was part of it, too.
Well, yeah, which in of itself is legendary. So, yeah.
Well, and then to top it off, what's his name? Sam Jones did the one cameo in Ted.
And Ted 2.
And Ted 2. And then to top it off, you just had a Queen movie, and now you got a whole entire movie full of Queen music.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing they didn't even mention the Flash Gordon film in the Queen movie. But
odd. I found that very odd. That was a pivotal thing
in their careers. Yeah,
that was a pivotal thing for the band, because here it is. It was in a time and place where, other than Saturday Night Fever, where you had artists as part of a movie soundtrack, well, now here it is, you got Flash Gordon, which are now, you got famous rock artists as part of a movie.
I think it's the same reason why they didn't bring up, I mean, they didn't want to retread it like they would retread, like Wayne's World brought Bohemian Rhapsody and Queen back to the forefront. They didn't want to follow that. It was more about
I know it was more
Freddie Mercury's story, too.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
type of thing, but
But the point being is, so there's that, which is, I think you could make a Flash Gordon film right now. At the same time, here's the thing: you have a point. Some of these have been dead. However, it again depends on who's got it, what kind of backing, how much money, and how much it's reimagined to make it something.
Who owns it?
Well, that too. But, like, for example, one of the reasons I brought this up is because it sounds like, I was kind of skimming it. I'm not sure if it's that there's two projects out there, competing projects, or one of them is official and one isn't. And it sounds like the one with Clooney may not be official. But here's the interesting part about that.
What's that?
If George Clooney has put himself behind a Buck Rogers project, I would say the odds of it being successful are pretty damn good.
The chances are pretty good.
What are you going to do? Get Greta Van Fleet to do the soundtrack? What's going on?
I have no idea.
They'll get Johnny Mathis, because chances are pretty good.
Flash.
But that's not Flash, that's Buck Rogers. We're not talking about
not Buck Rogers, no. Man, that theme song, that opening theme song to the Gil Gerard Buck Rogers Band is still like one of the best TV show theme songs.
I mean, make all the jokes you want, but Clooney's a big time Hollywood player.
I tend to think Clooney's got a little bit of clout in Hollywood these days.
Right, exactly. So I mean, it's possible he's not even in the movie. Well, let me rephrase that. He's probably in the movie. He's probably not Buck Rogers. They're probably going to go a different direction.
He's directing, maybe he's producing.
Right. Maybe you do something a little bit interesting, like, okay, Buck Rogers is Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that, and go a different direction with this, and give it a little bit different feel, and a different look, and a different edge, and suddenly, you can make this work. I don't know. Again, some of these like I said, these properties are out there. Some of them some people live their lives enjoying them. Yes, some of these things are out of sight, out of mind. It only takes one person with some ingenuity and some backing who believes in it, and guess what? Everybody thought the Guardians of the Galaxy was gonna. I mean, nobody thought that was a big gamble
for
right.
Well, that was a nice throw at the time that they made that, and it turned into a much bigger thing than anyone would have ever imagined.
Right. Well, I mean, could you ever imagined in your lifetime that more people would know who Groot is than Flash fucking Gordon?
Thank you.
No kidding.
You know, I mean, so that mind, I mean, it's, I don't know. I can't answer that. But again, so there's that, I guess. So this new Paramount Plus, they've decided that they're going to make a prequel set in 1883 of Yellowstone.
Yeah, I'd be cool. I'd watch it.
1883 of Yellowstone.
Yeah, the Yellowstone series with Kevin Costner.
With Kevin Costner, that's really good.
Yeah.
That one.
They're doing a prequel series set in the late 19th
That's
century.
Got to be basically, okay, we're founding Yellowstone practically. I mean, that's got to be almost what it would have to be.
Any promotion for a national park has got to be good, right?
I don't think it's being used as PR for the national park.
I don't think
this is
so
like
either.
This is like the Sopranos with cowboy hats.
Yeah.
I see.
So we're probably going to get like a Deadwood kind of type series then.
We were going to stand in front of Old Faithful and stuff, you know.
Not Old Faithful. Jesus, Ivan. No
redwood trees?
No, not really.
It means you mean I won't be able to see them drive?
I love how Ivan's dissing something that he hasn't been, he ain't seen.
Well, yeah, what about Yogi Bear?
Let me tell you something. Yogi Bear's in it. He's on their fucking floor as a rug.
Along with Boo Boo.
You know what? Boo Boo's what's her name's wearing the woman. I can't remember her name. It's been so long since I've seen the show now. What's her name? The daughter who's like badass.
Yeah, the foul-mouthed daughter.
Yeah, the one who's practically naked half the time.
Nobody knows her name.
I think she's the only one that drops the F-bomb like every 10 minutes in that show.
More like 3.
That's like a real rum-induced date that you want to take home and forget. Yeah, okay.
No,
but yeah, it's a good show. I want to rewatch the previous season before the next season drops.
Yeah, it's been long enough.
Yeah, it's a good show.
It's a solid show. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I love it. My favorite is I was sitting there going, yeah, okay. I would start watching and be like, oh my god, this is great.
Probably.
You know. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I feel like there was something else DC related, but I can't find it at the moment. And you know that's always how is this going to work? It's like later we're going to be like, okay, yeah, there's that. I forgot about that.
I'm surprised we didn't get a Super Bowl trailer for Snyder Cut.
Oh God, thank God! Fucking
I never thought I would hear anything more about the Snyder Cut than we had already.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh man, they're gonna break that thing down like a fucking Zapruder film when the time comes too, because it's man.
They're gonna serve it up like cheese on crackers.
That's the thing you mentioned is that we might see Jared Leto's Joker in.
Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got anything else? We're running long tonight.
I think that's about. Well, if there was anything, fuck it. Who cares now?
Ivan, what are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? The same thing I do every weekend. Try and take over the world. No, I'm just going to. I'm still going to be doing some. I'm doing some Temple House on Friday. Doing Temple House on Friday.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be back on the spinning wheel on Sunday. And, then the rest of the week, just assorted, shenanigans, chores, and, being with my wife, eating food, getting high, the usual. And, just having a,
So that's your plans for Valentine's Day?
As far as, Valentine's Day, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and be with my baby,
Just eat some food and get high?
Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and eat chocolates. And
I was sitting around my house getting high.
And then...
I'm
I'm the one.
high. Because I got high. Because I got high.
You elucidate that you're the one that likes to get high. And I'm like, yeah. No, Julie doesn't get high. I'm the one that gets high. But anyway.
Because I got high. Because I got high.
Because I got high. And then, of course, I'm going to go watch the Ralph Bakshi versions of, Fuck Gordon and let's see, who else? Butt Rogers in the 21st century.
Not Duck Dodgers.
Oh, did I say Butt Dodgers?
Yeah, that's on Pornhub, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the Ralph Bakshi version, man. You got Flesh Gordon, you got Butt Rogers,
and Buck Naked.
Butt Naked, Flesh Gordon and Butt Rogers and Butt Naked by Ralph Bakshi, a production of Paramount Plus exclusive.
You see DJ Bad Boy Bill will be there?
Yeah. He'll have a walk-on cameo appearance.
Yeah.
Play a music that Ivan's not allowed to play.
Okay. You're right about that.
Jeff, what are you doing this weekend? You got any public speaking?
What am I doing this weekend? I am probably doing some storytelling. Yeah, that too. I'm probably doing some storytelling at the Cocoon on Saturday night, and that is usually a Zoom thing, but that's out there. If you go check out the Story Jam website or Story Jam on Facebook, you can find the link for that. I am at Windy City Professional Speakers on Sunday night. I am speaking there too. And that again.
Get yourself out there, boy. Let me tell you.
And then let's see what else I got. I don't know. Who knows? I might do something on Clubhouse soon. We'll see. And then I'm trying to think what else I got other than that. But yeah, Saturday. What? Great, thanks, Ivan. So yeah, Saturday and Sunday. It looks like I might be busy, and then otherwise I don't know that I have a ton going on yet. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, I just double checked it. Marvel might actually give us that Jimmy Woo series.
Yeah, they pitched.
Or Agent Woo
it's being
series.
pitched because that's like what the internet said, like right away after episode 4. It's like, give this man a show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then they should. Yeah.
You mean Woo?
Yeah, he's the FBI guy who was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And now he's on WandaVision with Darcy.
He's that guy on Butt Naked.
I must be thinking of another character. He used to be on Barney Miller.
No, it's not. No, not the guy from Barney Miller. No, he's not getting his own show. Not the guy from
Barney Miller.
Oh, okay.
Although that'd be kind of amusing. Okay, Fish is gonna have his own show. I don't know what the hell it's gonna be.
The Barney Miller cinematic universe is expanding.
Yeah. Yes. Mel the cook on Alice is getting his own show. There you go, Ivan. It'll be on me.
Oh, there you go, Vic Tayback, man. I can see Vic Tayback, man. Oh, wait a minute. Now that you hit that, there was an episode. There was a superhero episode on Alice Once Upon a Time too. There was. Go look at that. I didn't imagine this. I swear to goodness. Yeah, go on YouTube. There's a superhero episode where Vic Tayback actually plays a superhero.
Yeah, Spatula Man.
No, seriously. Now we're gonna have
Spatula Man.
Yeah, seriously. So, I mean, you can have people going over to YouTube saying, "What the hell is Ivan thinking now?" Send people to the YouTube just so they can sit there and say, "I'll be damned, it is there."
I'm just impressed that I haven't got anybody thinking. All right, Mike, where do they find us? Because I'm on a whole bunch of shit now.
I got to start writing this down. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. No negative content. Of course, you can follow these stories that we talk about on the Squares Roundtable Facebook page and our sister show, our sibling show, Doesn't have brother show, sister show, doesn't matter. It's Squares of the Round Table, and then the News of the Squared. It's our two things we do, and then we do fairly well. You can download the show on your usual podcast hosting platforms, Google, Apple, Spotify, Anchor, and a few other little ones. I think we have like Breaker and a couple other ones that are on through the Anchor or Spotify links. Ivan is on twitch.tv/Java and Ivan. Jeff is on YouTube and Facebook at Dynamite Productions.
Dynamite. Thanks for getting on Instagram there. I saw that, Jeff.
He's on. You're on Instagram as well.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm obviously on Clubhouse. Actually, it was funny. That's the only reason I ended up on Instagram the other day was everybody's like, well, DM you on Instagram. I have Twitter. I'll DM you on Instagram. Okay, I guess I'm getting Instagram even though I don't want it, but all right, fine.
Yeah, Instagram's like picture heavy.
I'm on Instagram.
We know.
I know, now I gotta see Ivan without a shirt.
We know. Ivan is also on Instagram. He is Jive and Ivan 1960. Yes. Email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us here on the Squares of the Round Table podcast, and we waiting for your compliments, your criticisms, any type of email is really, really cool. Let us know what you're digging on your wig here on our program, and I hope that you'll catch up with us next time. And don't forget that we do have the News of the Squared, our sibling page, also available for your enjoyment. Until next time out, on behalf of Mr. Mike and Mr. Jeff, and of course me, Jive and Ivan, we bid you a great, great time. A great night, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Get the flowers and candies.
Or
be an ass.